Trigger warning. There are themes of intense hallucinations and depression in this chapter and upcoming chapters. This is a warning. Kokichi fell asleep on my chest after he said the words, causing his eyes to slowly shut. I just looked down at him and saw the small smile on his face. Before I knew it, my hands found their way into his hair, and I started unconsciously combing through his purple locks with a smile forming on my face. I could barely hear what was going on in the movie, but I didn't care. The only thing I cared about is making sure Kokichi is safe and by my side. I smiled to myself. All this time I thought my admiration and care for him was all one-sided, but he was suffering as well, a lot more than I could ever imagine. I mean, I understand how lonely it can be when no one listens to you. I know how it is thinking you are better off dead than having to be around people that you think are so much better than you. I wish I could have found out how he was feeling sooner. I wish if I could have been able to help him and be able to make sure that he was alright and always stay by his side. I've been lonely ever since forever. My parents were never really present in my life, and my uncle was preoccupied with work, so much so that he didn't really have any sense that he cared. Well, at least that's what I noticed. I knew he did, but it was hard to remember at the time. I could feel Kokichi move closer into my chest, soft snores coming out of his mouth. He's just so cute. I found myself blushing because my heart was bursting with love for the little leader snuggled into my chest. I didn't know how he had this effect on me. I mean, he could always make me flustered by any of his actions towards me, but this seems different. Like, I know that he trusts me enough to be able to fall asleep in my lap, and this makes me so happy that I'm the one he trusts with this side of him, and I don't want anyone else to be able to see him like this. I know that may be a little overprotective and kind of controlling of me to say, but I just want it to be me and him. I mean, I like doing training with Maki and Kaito and talking to Gonta and Kibo, but Kokichi is the only one I want. He is the only one I want to be able to be like this with. The only one I can see myself completely trusting. I know that must seem crazy. Why would you trust a liar? I can see why others would think I'm crazy. I looked back down at Kokichi, but I want people to know that he's trying his best to be honest with me. So why shouldn't I trust him as he trusts me? Sai, Hara, Cham. I could hear Kokichi mumble the name he chose to call me. I'm not sure if this was because he wanted to use Chan at the end of my name to imply affection, or if he just found my stature more on the feminine side. Either way, it makes me blush whenever he calls me by that name or any nickname he gives me. I put my hands back around his torso and laid back on the couch. I could hear a content sigh leave his lips when I moved my arms around him. I couldn't help but smile at how much I love him. I could only think of how much I loved the leader laying on me, and I blushed at the thought. I started to rub his back and found myself relaxing as well. I could hear the movie credits playing, but didn't bother to go turn it off. I just let the sound of his calm breathing and the sensation of tracing circles on his back relax me completely. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding in and let my eyes close. I wasn't tired, but I wanted to be able to be in the moment, our moment, my moment with Kokichi. 'Cause all these moments are things I know I will never forget. I must be really tired, was the only thing I could think before I was out. I woke up in a field of flowers. They were all pretty colors of pink, blue, and purple. The wind was blowing softly, making the flowers move as if they were dancing. I found myself entranced by the way they moved in the wind and mesmerized by all the pretty colors coming together. I took a deep breath, inhaling the scent of all the flowers, roses, lilies, lilacs, and violets. I felt so calmed by the feeling of the warm sun on my back and the feeling of the wind softly combing through my hair. I closed my eyes only for a moment, taking in all the sounds and the sweet smells of the flowers. My eyes fluttered open once more, and I saw Saihara standing in the distance. With a smile, I walked over to him, and I could see as I got closer he was picking a bouquet of all the colors of the flowers. When I got to his side, I grabbed his chin to look at him in the eyes. He looked up at me and smiled before there was a moment of silence. Everything froze. The wind stopped and the flowers were frozen in place. Confused, I looked down at Saihara and noticed he was in a similar state. Then it all went black. I was starting to get nervous. Would he come back again? Is this going to be a nightmare? I could feel my breathing quicken. I don't want this to happen. Not again. Please, please, please. I couldn't hear or see anything, but I could feel the tears falling down my face. Ni-he-he. You thought you could get rid of me? You can't get rid of a part of yourself, Kokichi. You're stuck with me. Forever. Ni-he-he. The voice faded away, but the screams didn't stop. I could feel all the painful memories flashing across my mind. All the cuts, all the pain, the words they said, the things they did. Worthless. Liar. You should have died. Why couldn't it have been you? You'll be alone. Forever. I could feel every single pleading cry that left my throat, screaming for this to stop, escaping my mouth, feeling like the plea cut through my thoughts by just trying to get out of my head. I want all of this to stop. It's only a matter of time. Shut up. He will find out the truth. Please stop. He won't want you anymore. He will leave you like everyone else has, and you'll be alone like you always are. Shut up! My eyes shot open, tears pouring out of them. I just held myself while I shook. I couldn't see or hear anything. The screams were too loud. The sobs were too deafening. I couldn't see anything. It was all blurry from my tears. Why is this happening? Saihara-chan, please, help me.